JJS released a massive update today that added 2 characters to the game, Hanami and Mei, reworked a lot of Higuruma's moveset, and then made both massive balance changes to the game to some characters, as well as general changes to the game that are also quite big. It's a bit too much to cover in depth with a single video, which is why this video is gonna focus on Mei, and tomorrow I'll be talking about Hanami, who is really interesting as well. Mei is a very straightforward character, but she has a lot of stuff to give her more depth, and has some of the most unique combos in the game because of her having an aerial gimmick similar to Locust Guy. So, let's get started with explaining the movesets. To first explain Mei, let's start with her M1s. She gets a massive axe that changes up her M1s a little bit. Mostly everything is the same, but the changes are in her uppercut and her normal 4th M1. Her 4th normal M1 is significantly slower than normal, but in exchange it bypasses block. Personally, I have not had any success at using this in practice, and it's really easy to deal with by interrupting it. Other than that, her uppercut sends the target way higher into the air, and also sends her into the air with them. This ties into a lot of her other moves, and allows for some very fun air combos. Finally, doing her forward dash in the air does a weird kind of push down that bounces you up and suspends the target in the air for a short period of time. It's useful for some extra damage and air combos. Her R special, called Flock, is a small step forward where if you make contact with anybody, it immediately stops a step, does a hop, and bounces both of you into the air. This works in her aerial combos to let you get even more height, and since it picks people off the ground, it's useful for extending off any ragdolls that you normally can't extend off of. Her first move, called Impetus Updraft, is a slash that goes at a diagonal angle upwards. It's blockable, comes out extremely fast, and if it does get blocked, you have end lag until you touch the ground, though this end lag is very difficult to punish with a short window. The move also doesn't hit rounded ragdolls, but does hit aerial ragdolls. Hitting someone who's on the ground will normally knock them back extremely far, but you can use Flock to cancel that knockback. If hitting someone in the air, the knockback won't be as far and you'll fly along with them, letting you confirm your other 2 moves without needing Flock. Her second move is called Circling. Normally, it's 2 quick slashes with a big hitbox that are blockable and come out extremely fast. It's not too hard to punish it on block, but it's very difficult if not impossible to punish on whiff. These 2 slashes can hit ragdoll, and the second one knocks the opponent back extremely far, which makes it difficult to follow up on. You can also charge up the move by holding it, which causes the slashes to bypass block. Doing the move on a target who's a decent height in the air, which can be achieved with just your uppercut, will instead do a grab that slams them into the floor and bounces them, extending into your other moves. Her third move is Gliding Flight, which immediately makes her do a kind of Beyblade twirl in the direction she's facing. This direction can't be changed once the move starts, and anyone in the path of it that isn't blocking will be grabbed by Mei, where at the end she does a slam that sends them a short distance into the air and ragdolls. The move is blockable, and stops the move's movement if it is blocked, though it doesn't seem to be punishable and lets Mei block at the end even if she's blocked. In general, the move has extremely low end lag. It can also hit people in the air, and can be used in the air for very strong combos. The big note I have for this move is that it does end off your air combo and send both of you back to the ground, even though it does bounce the opponent up a short distance at the end. So, for the purpose of your air combos, you generally want it to be last in the combo string unless you have Flock to restart your air combo. Finally, her 4th move, called Bird Control, has 3 variants. Holding A, D, or no movement keys at all will call in a crow to pick her up into the air, which I personally refer to as a neutral variant of the move. She just kinda hovers there, but you can cancel this flight with any of your moves, including the other variants of Bird Control. Holding S summons a crow that slams the opponent into the ground, while holding W summons a crow that uppercuts them. Both variants are usable out of the neutral variant. The crow is extremely fast, though it is blockable. It does seem to be able to catch people even if they dash, and the range on the move is very long. It can also be cancelled if you're hit during the crow's flight. Mainly the move is useful as a combo starter, or as a way to extend ragdoll on an opponent, which can give you an extra down slam in a combo, or let you continue off one of your super high knockback moves, like Circling. Now, let's talk about her playstyle. Mei is probably one of the most fun characters I've played recently. She isn't really complicated, if anything, it's the opposite. She's a little bit brain dead, but she has a lot of freedom with what she's allowed to do that's awesome to mess around with. She is sort of a close range rushdown with a ton of mobility, but also has a solid ranged option to pressure people with, that being bird control. The main weakness I've seen with her is that she has practically no guard breaks. The 2 guard breaks she does have are Charged 2 and her 4fm1. Both of these are very impractical as guard breaks owing to how incredibly slow they are, and I don't recommend trying to use them because you will get M1'd and punished by whatever brain dead bread and butter combo the opponent has. So, in order to get her combos off, she's a little bit reliant on either being really good at M1 trading and block bypassing with her forward dashes or side dashes M1s, or reliant on interrupting people with her moves or just catching them off guard in neutral. Interrupting people is what she's really good at doing, and that's all because the startup on her moves is practically non-existent. Everything seems to come out near instantly, and the hitboxes on them are huge too, which make them great for catching people out of stuff because they have priority over most moves. If you notice somebody doing something at a sort of close range, you can generally just press 1, 2, 3, or 4 and catch them out of their move. Then you just do flock to bring them into the air and spam your moves into something resembling a combo for big damage. Repeat the process and you win. She is also able to play super aggressively though, and I'm not sure how intentional it is, but because her end lag is very low on a lot of stuff, it makes her insanely hard to punish. The only move I've seen that felt like an easy punish is circling. While this pressure isn't that hard to deal with because, you know, just press your F key, she is able to put out so much pressure onto the opponent without really having to worry because even if she does get blocked, she never faces that much consequence for it. That lets her chain move after move after move, and the opponent isn't able to do that much to stop it until she runs out of moves to use, as long as the Mei isn't an idiot and does a very obvious circling for you to block. However, you don't want to mash your moves and waste them because that's where all your damage comes from, since she doesn't have any M1 resets. In regards to her combos, by the way, she's very fun in that regard, and it's where a lot of the freedom I mentioned comes from. She's able to combo off of almost any hit, and the glue that connects all of those hits together are Flock and Crow Control. For example, circling knocks the opponent super far away, and normally you can't get close enough to use Flock because Ragdoll doesn't last that long. But if you use Crow Control, you can extend the Ragdoll by a little bit if you time it right, and that lets you get close enough to use Flock, where you can then use the rest of your moves in the air since they all combo into each other. Anything works as a combo, and all you really got to know to make a combo up is that everything works in the air, Gliding Flight brings them back to the ground, Flock brings them into the air even if they're in a grounded Ragdoll, also Flock lets you continue off of the first move, and Bird Control lets you extend the Ragdoll if you knock them too far, or need to wait on a cooldown. Yuta has similar combo freedom where everything hits Ragdoll, but unlike Yuta, I just find Mei-Mei's to be a lot more interesting, maybe because you get to fly around in the air like a bird during the combo. She's also quite well balanced, though I do think her startup and end lag could use some changes, so that her moves don't come out as fast as they do, and she isn't as difficult to punish as she is right now. Mainly, Gliding Flight is the big offender here. That move comes out near instantly and is insanely tough to punish. Overall though, she's well designed. Her design isn't that complex, which is very different from Hanami right now, who is the most unique design we've had so far. She's a true zoner. But I think that's part of the charm in that she's just kinda simple to play. She avoids being a generic M1 merchant because of how large her hitboxes are, and because of their speed allowing her to interrupt people's moves, along with the Crow just being an insanely good but also well-balanced move. Yet, she doesn't have the same kind of combo complexity or unique gimmicks to learn that make characters like Choso or Megumi a little less welcoming. Anyways, that's all I've got to say on Mei-Mei. I'll be dropping a video on Hanami soon, who is a lot more interesting with a design that's way more unique, but also kind of not fitting for the game in a way that kinda hurts. If you liked watching this video, then consider subscribing since it helps me make more content. I'm Noob Eternally, thanks for listening in, and I'll see you next time in the next video. Bye.